Are you ready to start selling your leatherwork but don't know where to begin? You don't need a website. You don't need a brick and mortar storefront. I'm going to tell you how I started with nothing and how we built up to where we are today. I got a belt to build, so I'm going to invite you along to the workshop and tell you a little story. When I started selling leatherwork, I didn't have the website, I didn't have the storefront. It was really just me doing projects for myself and telling friends and family about it. This is what I'm doing. This is what I made. And from that, we started hitting in our warm market, is what that's called, right? Friends and family, people that you know, wanting to buy stuff. And I think that's important to remember when you're starting out, is not to try to look bigger than you are to start with. You don't have to have this persona of, oh, I've been doing this a long time, I'm such and such custom leatherworks maker, whatever name you come up with, because if you're just starting out, your product isn't going to match that persona. And the problem with that is then people see right through that, and that's what they associate with you, is like, I don't know if I can fully trust what they're advertising because it doesn't quite match up, right? So being real honest right off the get-go is super important, and letting people know that you're making stuff, right? Getting the word out there. That's when we simplify this whole idea of marketing and advertising, right? Your fancy business terms, all that means is letting people know what you're doing. And social media is a great way to do that, especially as you're getting started without having the website or anything, just having social media. And you can begin on your own personal account. You don't have to have a business account to get this started. Posting what you're doing. And that's where I started, is just putting things out there, making some items, putting them out there. As I would get orders, I would make an order and then post pictures of that order, which was great. It showed what I was doing. People could see the product, and then could generally lead into more messages. Hey, I want to get one of those, or I want to get that. How can you make this? And then you can go into messengers with that and talk to people about it. The nice thing about that social media is it gives people a chance to connect with you, not just a product. And when we were building that up, I was trying to think on, well, how do we show this product better? How do we show the process? How do we show the value of it? Because when you get into pricing your handmade things, some things you're going to hear are, man, this is really expensive, or it's too expensive. And that can only mean a couple things. Either one, it's out of somebody's budget, which is fine, or two, it's they don't see the value in what you're doing. So it's up to us as creators and crafters and makers to show that value in something. And in trying to do that, I began to post process pictures, and before there was a ton of video on there, but showing some of the pictures and process of how we're building the things. For example, a belt like this, building a plain leather belt, but seeing that this is cut from a nice hide, showing the process of it being hand done, people can see the value that goes into that. And that's what I would really recommend as you get started, is to put in the process there. Let people connect with what you're doing, and they can see your personality through that. And you're going to start showing the things that you want to build. I will say this about social media is, don't post pictures of stuff that you don't want to build. I hear this complaint from people all the time. Say, man, all I'm doing are these hey dudes, doing the little hey dude tops, or all I'm building are these hair clips. That's what everybody keeps asking for, so I got to build what people ask for. Well, the problem is they're posting pictures of every single one they make, and then they're getting orders on that same thing. If you want to build something different, you need to post the pictures of what it is you're wanting to sell. So part of it with your social media is going to be to document what you're doing, but you can also use that to direct the path of your customers and what you want them to be noticing or taking into consideration when they're shopping with you. The next big obstacle that comes up, okay, now I have people that want to buy my stuff, they see the pictures, but now how do I actually get them to pay me money, right? I don't have a website, I can't process that payment through there. What we went through that worked really well for us getting started was using Square. It's a service that, yes, they can host websites and all that. That's not my recommendation for a website. We'll get into that at a different point. But what they do offer is this payment processing that you have to pay the fees per transaction, meaning if I want to sell this built-in template today, I can send an invoice through Square. It doesn't cost me anything to send that invoice. Somebody at their convenience can jump on, pay with a card or whatever app they want to pay with, but they pay that invoice, and then I pay the fees on this one transaction. So whatever the fee is up to date plus the percentage of the sale on there, right? 2 point whatever percent of your sale. Now you're going to have to pay that payment processing through lots of different payment processors, but some of those, like having a website hosting, you have to pay a monthly fee as well, regardless of whether you sell 100 things or no things. What I liked about Square getting started was that if I did sell 30 things this month, great. It just paid the transactions, but if I didn't sell anything, it didn't cost anything either. So that's what worked really good for us getting started with, is processing that. I mean, you can try to get around all of the fees and just tell people that it's cash only, or send me a check, or all the other different friends and family type of options and things like that to get around those fees. But what I've learned is that the easier you can make it for someone to pay you, the less sales you're going to lose. Because if it's a pain for somebody to complete that transaction and actually give you money, they're not going to want to go through with it. Or they're at least not going to want to come back and do it again. So if you can make it easy for people to pay you, you might get that extra sale just because it was easy for them to pay you. Whereas, yeah, just send me a check in the mail and then we can get going. What's going to happen in their life if they don't actually follow through and send that check, right? So that for me is worth whatever small fee there is in the transaction to actually go ahead and gain that business. The other good way to sell is in person, right? And that can be at a craft fair, a farmer's market, anything like that. Different trade shows, vendor shows. I'm sure there's something in your community. Think about yourself and where you've shopped at before. I know around here local there's several things, from holiday bazaars to the farmer's market and things like that. But people connect with people. And especially as you're early on in your journey, people are going to want to get on board and see as you get going, and they might want to buy things because they want one of your early pieces. And the people that you connect with early on are going to be people that follow you through your whole career, and they turn into super fans. And that's what you're after when you're creating that business. So whether you're selling in person or through your social medias, just remember to be where you're at. Don't try to step up and be something that you're not, and let people in on the journey and see you as you progress and how your work comes along, and see what goes into that. But if you're liking selling your stuff and you decide, hey, this isn't bad, I kind of want to do more of this, then you need to talk about actually making a business out of it. And I don't mean necessarily quit your day job today and make this a full-time thing, but there is a lot of different tax benefits, for one, just by being considered a business rather than a hobby. And that gets into a whole nother thing that we can get into a lot more topics on. But just keep that in the back of your mind, that going from hobby to business can be very beneficial in that tax realm, and there's steps that you need to do it correctly. But get started today though. Try it. What's standing in your way? What is it that is holding you back and making it that I'm hesitating and not wanting to take this to a business yet? I don't quite know if I'm ready to sell. It's okay to make mistakes, but if we go at them, make a decision, take action, and make that mistake, then we can pivot and turn and try something different. You might not know that you love doing Hey-Do shoes if you don't try them, if you don't take on that order. But if you just go try it and do it and decide, that's not for me, switch, pivot, try something different. The biggest thing is to take action today.